Hello, 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 and welcome to the second episode of Back to Scratch by Ibiza Bible and Decadance Radio. I'm Taylor Budd, and I'm here to interview the best DJs, performers, and record labels in the business to get closer to the artists and find out all the hidden gems of Ibiza. As a young music enthusiast and supporter, I still have a lot to learn about what makes the industry tick. So each week, I will also be talking to our amazing guest about certain topics that surround the music and events industry to get the inside scoop. Joining me on this week's episode of Back to Scratch to talk to me about the importance and also the annoyance of social media, we have someone that has made some big steps in the past 5 years, and you will know him mainly for his first big hit, The Jam, back in 2015, and that is none other than Kideko, aka Ryan Hurley. How you doing?
Yes, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. How's things been for you for the past 12 months?
Yeah, all good. Bit of a, I guess for loads of people, it's been a bit of a up and down. It's funny because I'm kind of used to sitting in my studio for long periods of time, not talking to many people. So yeah, it's weird. I'll go through sort of stages of sort of almost forgetting about it and being like in the zone musically and just, cracking on, getting creative with music and stuff. And then I'll see like a picture on my phone or like an old video of being at shows, and then it's like, that's going on right now. But yeah, kind of ups and downs, but
it's been a bit savage. It's been a bit savage. So what have you been doing mostly to keep busy? Obviously, you just said you've been in the studio a lot, but have you been doing anything else to keep busy?
What have I been doing? I've gotten into cooking loads recently. I've always loved eating, so yeah, got into cooking, baking. I haven't baked any banana bread, which I feel like most people have. But
is this a DJ thing that a lot of people in the music industry just love food? I think it's because you're always on tour trying new foods, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's probably partly that, but also I guess it's another way to get creative, which I never really thought about it like that until when I got into it.
I never thought that.
You can kind of like, yeah, no, it's quite fun. Like, I'm sort of starting to, I don't know, I guess as you get more into it, you get more of an idea of what certain things taste like together. And it's fun, like building different dishes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what do you miss most about normality? Obviously, apart from the obvious ones of not being in a club, not performing.
The obvious ones really, seeing my mates, seeing my family, being able to go to the pub for a beer. I miss playing five-a-side. I love doing that. I do that every week. Well, I used to. I miss playing football. I guess all the sort of standard stuff, I guess.
I think
traveling.
I think we all took things a little bit for granted when you just miss the little things the most, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
What are you doing after June 21st? Are you going straight in as a punter, or are you going in as performing, like you want to get back to work?
Well, I don't have any shows booked for the 21st, but yeah, I'll be straight out 100%.
It's got to be done.
Yeah, I want to get back to it in both ways, as a punter and going out doing shows. I'll just be in clubs one way or another, non-stop.
We owe it to our 20s, Ryan. Like, we've given up too much of our time to this virus.
It's true. I'm not going to be able to say no to any, like, if anyone's like, oh, do you want to go for a beer? It's
the year of yes.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like that show with Jim Carrey, Yes Man. Every answer is yes.
That's it.
Right, so before I get onto the music, I kind of just wanted to break the ice a little bit with a little old school game of 2 truths and 1 lie, which I'm hoping you have prepared for me.
I have actually got them written down.
Perfect. Right, so you're going to read all 3 out, and then I'm going to try and guess which one is the lie.
Okay, cool. So, first one, I got my name when I was traveling in Asia. The second one is I've performed on Top of the Pops. And the third one is I'm missing the tip of one of my fingers.
Oh, damn. Right, this is hard because now I can't see your hands. Um, let's do this logically. Logically, right? So the first one was
Got my name traveling in Asia.
right. Okay, I could see that happening. I don't know the story. It was one of my questions later in the show, so this would answer that. It could be. That's an easy one. Top of the Pops. See now. How old are you, Ryan? How old are you?
27.
That's a lie. That one is the lie. You're too
Yeah?
you're too young for Top of the Pops. I'm pretty sure. Am I wrong? Oh,
You're wrong. Yeah, you're wrong.
Oh, really?
I have performed on Top of the Pops.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
That was how many years ago now? Like, it was only like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
No, really?
Yeah, they do the Christmas editions or the New Year. They do like the New Year show every year, and me and George Qualley performed on there. Did our track "Crank It" with Nadia Rose.
I'm actually quite surprised by that. I'm not going to lie. How did the name come about then? Because you just said you got it in Asia. So how did that all come around?
So yeah, I was in the mountains in it was south. No, I wasn't. It's just Kideko. It's just the two words squashed together. I thought it looked cool. There's no cool story for that, I'm afraid. That's why I like to try and make one up about
it. Brilliant. Okay, right. So let's kind of get on to the music side of things, the stuff that we all want to know. So how did music all start for you?
I guess, yeah, firstly, I started playing drums when I was super young in school. My uncle got a drum kit, and every time we went round there, I would always try and sneak in, and he didn't really like me playing on them because I was quite young and I didn't have a clue. I'd just be basically just smashing them. But yeah, that was kind of when I really sort of started taking interest in actually playing instruments and stuff. Played in some cover bands and stuff through school. But then I really wanted to like write songs, but I couldn't write the songs to drums. It didn't really work. So I started messing around with, it was a PlayStation game actually called Music 2000, which had like loads of guitar loops. And do you remember it?
Yeah, I was one of those.
It had like all the guitar loops, and basically I would make songs on there and then get my mates to play the bits, and I'd play the drums. I'd write the lyrics and get someone to sing it. So yeah, and then kind of from there, developed more into like the computer side of it, and got into Fruity Loops. My ICT teacher introduced me to that because with Music 2000 it was like it wasn't really that in depth, so it was just like loops. Once I'd rinsed all of those, I was looking for the next sort of like step, and started making music on Fruity Loops. That's kind of how I got into it. Well, I guess I had the interest for years, and I was making music before I went to music production, like courses. It's kind of I studied it because I already knew that I like loved doing it, and I was already making music. So it's kind of like, right, school's coming to an end. My mum really wants me to go to college. What can I do? So I did music production. Also, obviously I love doing it as well. But the other great thing as well, it kind of like bought me time to just carry on making music without having to go and get like a full-time job, which was really helpful. And also just being around like-minded people that are really into it was really good.
You're in the right place for it because you're Brighton based, aren't you?
Yeah.
And obviously that is such an amazing city for all the culture, all the diversity that's down here. So it's probably such inspiration for your music as well.
Yeah, 100%, definitely.
So you've had quite a big step in the past 5 years because you only came out really massively in 2015, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So that was The Jam, one of your biggest track that everyone will know you for. Absolutely back. Where was that released again?
So that came out it was on like an indie label called TMTR, and then it got picked up by Columbia, which is through Sony.
Would you say that was your first big win in your career?
Yeah, I guess in terms of like sort of realizing that music, it was the first sort of thing that felt like I was going to be able to do this for a living, I guess, and like more long term and make it into a job.
Mm.
But I mean, like I had like radio plays and stuff like that, whereas I would consider that to be like, like a big thing.
Yeah. What would you consider your biggest achievement since you've started off?
I think it would have to be having Fatboy Slim play at one of the parties that I threw at the Arch.
Ooh.
That was surreal, because he was one of the people that kind of got me into like dance music, and so to have him come and play at one of our parties, I think he was on tour at the time, so the night after he just played like a sold out arena, he came and played at one of our parties in Brighton. So it was like, it was mad.
That's crazy. He does cool. Like getting involved with the whole city, doesn't he? He loves being in Brighton. He is 100% Brighton.
Yeah, definitely.
So what is your proudest achievement over the past 5 years? Like your favourite gig, your favourite performance, venue, anything like that? Your biggest sort of achievement in your career?
I'd say Top of the Pops is probably up there, because it's like something that I never thought I would do through the music that I make. I know that it can sort of cross over and go more like down the mainstream route, but I just didn't think Top of the Pops was ever really on the cards. So that's pretty cool.
So another question I kind of wanted to ask you, which, well, I've got so many questions for you and we have such a little time. Do you have a pre-show ritual, or do you get nerves going on stage?
I used to really badly get really nervous. On the way to a show, I'd get like, so like anxious, and but I guess I sort of started to get a bit used to it as I got busier. I'm just thinking about, I probably will get nervous now because it's been so long. I feel like there probably will be like, a bit of that sort of nervousness again. In terms of ritual, a few beers, maybe a tequila.
That is all you need, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has there ever been a moment in your career where you just thought, it's a bit too much, I need to take a bit of a step back and have a bit more me time? Has there ever been a moment like that?
Yeah, probably on numerous occasions. But I think I kind of go through that thought process quite often, to be honest. It'll be like, I'll get like, feel really creative and then really like smash it and make loads of tunes, be in the studio all the time, and then it will kind of be like, I'll kind of get uninspired, I guess. I've sort of got it all out, and then I won't feel like making any music, and then almost start to feel like a bit shit about it, because I'm not. Sorry, am I allowed to swear? But I guess I've just sort of like learned to accept the process. So if I'm not feeling like making stuff, I sort of just let it happen, because otherwise you can stress yourself out way too much, and it's almost like
in a bigger
counteractive, makes it worse.
Yeah, you need to have those little clean breaks just to get some more creativity coming in, really.
Yeah, definitely.
So what stimulates your mind outside of music? Like, is there anything that gets your imagination going? Do you have any other hobbies?
I guess we sort of touched on them, like cooking, football, five-a-side. I don't really watch too much football, but which is funny because my mum and brother are super like football fanatics. Yeah, like proper. But I love playing. I guess it's a good way of like getting exercise without realizing that you're exercising, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's fun exercise.
Yeah. PlayStation as well. I probably play a bit too much PlayStation, especially through lockdown.
So like when you go on tour, what is it like? So how much space, how much time do you get to yourself? How much time are you working? How hard is it to balance, really?
To be honest, I've never been like, you hear some stories of people that do like 300 gigs a year. I've never been like that busy like that. I guess, yeah, that's a good point. I probably, the most I've probably done is like probably like 3 a week at one point, and it does get a bit if you're doing like a whole weekend of like driving around the country or like flying around, it does get a bit tiring. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, not to sound like cliche, but I love doing it, so I don't really consider it. But also I get so much time in the studio as well, that I guess that's kind of the downtime from the shows. Yeah.
Right. So now I wanted to touch a little bit more on social media, because you are what many people in the industry would consider still very young, and you're in the same era as me, and you've been brought up with social media, phones, streaming. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain about the importance, or maybe even some of the disadvantages of social media within the industry. So what's your kind of thoughts on how it's developed over like the past 5 years, how people are trying to stay relevant?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, because it is, like you said, is so important now, and it's such like a big part of like being a DJ, and especially over the last year as well, like staying sort of relevant and in people's minds. You've had to, obviously with there being no shows, like you've had to sort of adapt, I guess, and get more on things like live streams and just doing more stuff online. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I do enjoy doing it. I just try and have fun with it, really. It can definitely be stressful. What's that? Sorry.
I've noticed. I'm quite a fan of some of your TikToks and some of your content creation that you put.
Yeah, it is a tough one, because I'll do stuff and then I don't know, whatever it is, like a stupid TikTok or whatever, and I'm like a real overthinker, so I'll be like, oh, is that going to come across like a certain way?
On the same.
Yeah, I think we all do it, to be honest. You kind of start second guessing, what you're posting and stuff. But yeah, I guess it's just try and enjoy it and be yourself on there. But yeah, it's definitely important to try and have some sort of online presence.
Yeah, I think it's one of those important tools that if you don't use it, you are going to get left behind. If you don't take the risks and the opportunities, you are going to get left behind. And I think it's probably harder for people that are older in the industry that didn't grow up with it and haven't had it their whole lives like we have.
Yeah.
There is one video that I really wanted to bring up, because this is something I didn't know about you. Since when can you MC? I don't just mean MC, like really well. That one you done on your TikTok was out.
Corrupt FM one.
The Corrupt FM one. Outstanding. I was actually blown away. I think I messaged you saying, mate, what is this? This is awesome.
Yeah, that's before I like fully got into production. I was like rapping, sort of trying to rap. So yeah, there was a point in my life where I thought I was going to be the next big rapper.
The next devil man.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I wish I had you in the studio with me right now, because I would definitely be playing that track and you would be doing some live MCing right now.
It took a lot of takes, so I'm not sure it would go down very well live.
It always does. You got the lyrics in there now, so it's all good.
True.
Going back to the social media side of things, what can you see the negatives in it? Because obviously it's not always fun and games. There's a lot of trolling. There's a lot of comparing yourself, like you just said. So what kind of impact do you think that's had on some artists?
Yeah, it's like you said, you sort of, a lot of people start to compare themselves, and even I guess like sort of subconsciously you're scrolling through your feed, seeing, I don't know, I guess it depends on what you follow, but seeing a lot of I feel like a lot of people use it as like a sort of highlights reel, whereas they're only posting like the best bits. So I think it's just important to remember that no one's really going to be posting. I guess over the last couple of years, people have been a lot more open about, like, I guess, mental health struggles and stuff like that, which is great. I think it's really good to talk about. But yeah, it's definitely easy to be going through Instagram or whatever it is and see a lot of like people's lifestyles and stuff, and it can definitely have a negative impact. But I guess, yeah, I don't know. I guess if you start to feel that way, maybe take a break.
I feel like I
Yeah,
was just saying there about how people are opening up a lot more on social media about mental health. I agree, but I also think half the reason that that mental health is there is because of social media. So it's kind of counterproductive in a way.
yeah, I do. I can hear that for sure.
So what are you doing to stay relevant on social media?
So yeah, through lockdown, I've been doing some streams. I did one with a local festival called Boundary, where I got a bunch of my mates to do some sets, and we sort of pieced it all together and made it like a whole. I think it was like an 8 hour stream. Um, yeah, just live streams, little like sort of TikToky bits. I've been trying to do more like in the studio stuff because I've noticed. I sort of looked back through my Instagram and there was loads of stuff of me just being an idiot, like doing like funny stuff. And then I was like, wait, I do music. I should probably show more of that sort of side of it. And yeah, I'm really interested in like super like geeking out on production stuff. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to show more of that. I don't know if I guess that's the other sort of tricky thing about social media is once you've sort of built a certain fan base, it can feel like you have to sort of make the sort of content that they want to see.
Mm.
And if I like sometimes post, I don't know, like something of me playing around with a keyboard and like no one is that interested in it, it can be a bit like, oh, that's kind of pointless. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just again just trying to have the most fun with it and doing what you like doing.
I think it's such a complicated thing because there's so many different aspects of it. It's like what you're posting, when you're posting. You can have a good day, you can have a bad day. It's so hard to keep up to date with and stay relevant in.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a full time job in itself. Social media.
Going back to what you were just saying about how you're uploading loads of new content in the studio about how you're making tracks. You uploaded one about your new track, Cubanito, which, by the way, amazing. And
Nice one. Appreciate it.
I was really interested because I'm not into production. I don't know how to make a track. So from what you showing was really, really fun to watch. Actually, I quite enjoyed it. So it's just more putting that out there. But tell us more about Cubanito anyway, because this is obviously your new biggest track that you just brought out on your new label, I believe.
Yeah, new label called Make and Move, which I've mentioned is something that I've wanted to do. I've always had the idea to do a label because I love the idea of putting on parties and just like yeah, sort of. I want to put parties on that are sort of semi regular and just have like a real sort of like community sort of vibe, so that people can like come to them and they sort of know what to expect. And I just want it to be like a good laugh. But yeah, Cubanito was the first track that I sort of made when I like since knowing that I was going to launch a label, and it was really nice to like having the labels really like freed up my creativity. I feel like I'm not thinking like, is this label going to like it? Will this person want to sign it? Or does it sound like this certain label? I can just make what I want, and yeah, hopefully that came across in the tune. I feel like it's an interesting tune. So
It's a real good, fun tune. It really is a lot of fun just to listen to. It's a summer bubbler, as some
yeah,
people would say. It's really
I
good.
like that Summer Bubbler.
Summer bubbler. I got that from Adam Gorski, actually.
Oh yeah, I saw that you did one of these with him as well. Actually,
Yeah, he was fun. He was good to have on. So it's quite nice having the kid from around the block and now the actual kid, Kideko. So you've just had a new track come out called Better Move on your new label. So tell us a bit more about that and how it all come about.
yeah. So that track is a collab with an Italian duo called Havoc and Lawn. We met a couple of years ago now in Amsterdam at ADE, and yeah, like we play each other's music. We were fans, and we got chatting. So since then, we've sort of always, we've been sending ideas back and forth. They actually sent me the vocal for the track, and I loved it. Yeah, it's kind of like a disco-y sort of feel-good tune. But yeah, really excited to get that out with the boys, and that's on my label as well, Make 'Em Move.
I bet it's probably really nice to have your own label and, like you said, just put all the music that you want on there and not worry about everything else.
Yeah, definitely. It's like like I said, like a sense of freedom. Like you don't really have to think about what other people are going to like, which is really nice when I'm in a studio to not have to think about anything like that.
Mm. Right. So the next part of this show is more Ibiza orientated because obviously our sponsors and our partners are Ibiza Bible. So they kind of want to know a lot more about the island, all the little hidden gems, all the after party places to go, and the memories that you've basically had of your time there. So
Okay.
my first question would be, what is your favorite after party that you've ever been to in Ibiza?
Favorite after party. To be honest, actually, it wasn't. When I think of after parties, because a lot of the time when I'm in Ibiza, I'll be out during the day, at like daytime parties. So I don't make it to like the after party, like the 5 a.m. Do you know what I mean? Like the after parties like that.
You're not in bed by then. Come on.
Yeah, no, I am. I know I said earlier I'm a party guy, but I can't go for like 2 days or for 2 or 3 days. Like I'm not that wild.
Not a 3-day bender, no surrender.
Nah, that's not for me.
No?
Nah.
So what's the wildest thing that's happened to you out there? Like, because you do see some sights.
Wildest thing? I don't know. I feel like, have I got any wild stories? Maybe not ones that I should mention.
I remember my first 3 days in Ibiza. We all know the egg roundabout, the very famous egg roundabout. The first 3 days I was there, I was going to work because I was doing ticket selling. And there was a guy passed out on the roundabout. The second day, there was another guy passed out on the roundabout. The third day, another guy. And I was just like, what have I walked into? This is my first week of living in Ibiza.
Yeah. There always seems to be someone just taking a little snooze there.
Yeah. Apparently it's the go-to place. What is your favorite place to DJ in Ibiza, would you say?
I would say Mambo. I played Cafe Mambo for Radio 1 weekend a couple of years ago. I guess so they had like a stage set up on the rocks, so it's a little bit different to how I guess they would normally have the venue.
This BBC Radio 1's Big Weekender.
Yeah. So they set the stage up, so it's slightly different. So I don't know if that answer is,
No, I get what you mean, because it's flipped, isn't it? They put the actual stage on the rocks and the beachfront.
Yeah. That was amazing.
It's probably nicer from a party goer's perspective because they're looking at the sunset, but when you're actually in Mambo's DJing, their backs to the sun, so it's probably nicer from their perspective.
Yeah, I love like a daytime party. So, and I'm like a big fan of sunsets. Obviously, Ibiza is the place for that. And like you said, Mambo is really good for that as well. But in terms of like more clubs, I guess Amnesia is probably my favorite place that I played. Can't beat it.
You really can't beat it. That atmosphere is something else that island just can't deliver. It's unreal. And it's the only place that has a contrasting night, like a D&B event, which they don't really do in Ibiza, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that's true. I guess there's Ibiza Rocks as well, which that's not a club, but obviously they put on sort of different events throughout, don't they?
Yep, and it's an amazing venue, probably one of my favourite, to be honest. And actually, the first time I saw you live, which we discussed just before the show, with those awful photos. Yeah, I'm one of those.
I love that.
What plans have you got coming forward for Ibiza? Have you got any sort of gigs lined up for the next coming years to go out there and do any residencies?
There's been a bit of talk about some shows. Like we've been in talks with promoters and stuff, but obviously not knowing in terms of how things are going to open up, there's nothing solidified. But I'll definitely be out there, whether it's just going out to party and catch the vibe, or if it shows. But yeah, there's nothing sort of set in stone yet, but I'll be out there for sure.
Are you one of those people that was completely captivated by Ibiza? Because it's the same for everyone. You either love it or it's just not for you.
Yeah, I get that feeling every time. Every time you land, you're on the plane and you touch down. Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah.
I love the bit, like, obviously as you come in, you feel like you might touch the sea because the runway's so close. It's like, and yeah, it's just buzzing. It's like, we're here. Let's go.
You've never been able to stay up long enough to make it to 8 a.m. at DC-10 with the planes flying over you. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I need to do that. I do need to do that. I think I need to like, maybe like chill a bit more in the day. I think it's because I wake up and the sun's out and it's like, oh yeah, let's go to this pool party, or let's just like, do you know what I mean? And then by the time it gets to like 2 a.m, I'm like, I need to go to bed now. Which is I should probably be going a little bit more wild, but I think next time we go there,
it is a rite of passage to do that at DC-10. It's like a sense of achievement.
Yeah,
just to make.
Yeah, I do need to do that.
So could you see yourself living in Ibiza? Because it's a lot to take on, really.
100%. Me and my girlfriend have like spoken about it loads of times.
Yeah. I don't think I could trust myself living out there again. 3 months out there before wrote me off. And I don't think, again, it's going on holiday and living there, very different things.
That's true, yeah. I guess you'd have to be a little bit more sensible if you live there, which might be hard to do. Yeah, I never really thought of that, to be honest. All I saw was the sun and the parties, and just obviously how amazing of an island it is, and the beaches as well.
Yeah, but I suppose from a DJ's point of view, you are surrounded by like-minded people, inspiration, and just
yeah, definitely. It'd be a great one for like when obviously people will be flying in and out like all the time. So in terms of collabs and like if you had a studio set up there, that'd be amazing.
What would be your favorite place in Ibiza? And I'm not just talking about the clubs. I'm talking about any place like Esvedra, the most place.
That's what I was going to say. You said it straight away.
Straight away.
Yeah. I've been there twice now. And so one of my mates used to live in Ibiza, and he took us there. And that was like 3 years ago, I think. But yeah, every time I go back now, I'm going to make sure I go there for sure. It's unreal.
Have you ever been to Pikes?
Yeah.
Tell me about Pikes. What was that like?
So it was a Radio 1 thing again, actually. It was the after party, but not after party. It was after the daytime thing, so it was still like quite early. But yeah, it was wild. I ended up doing karaoke in a ball pit with one of the guys there that hosts. I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, basically when you go there, there's a guy who basically just makes sure that everyone's having a good time. He's just like a proper like the life and soul of the party.
A little hype man. You need one of those.
Yeah. He's a hype man. But yeah, that was a good night. There's some pictures from that night that maybe I shouldn't even mention, actually.
You know, that's something I'm going to touch on, actually, because obviously phones have become such a thing in clubs. Everyone's got their phones out trying to capture the best moment, especially like times like Elro. I can see myself, and I've done it many times, waiting for every drop, filming every drop, waiting for that confetti. And I've been so pulled out of the moment from doing that. It's just changed a bit too much, and I never got to experience what it was like without phones. So do you think phones has taken away a bit of that aspect from the whole atmosphere?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that it has, but I'm also not one of the sort of people to say, you know, I'm not like anti-phone, because like people want to remember, they want to look back and be like, oh, that was amazing. I think it's just having a balance. Like if you're like live streaming pretty much the whole night, then it's a bit different, and you're actually just looking at everything through your phone. But I think to get like some videos and pictures and stuff, like I think there's no harm in that. But yeah, I think it's definitely had an effect.
Because obviously there's loads of clubs out there like in Berlin specifically, they've got tons of clubs that just won't allow a single phone. I think they put stickers over your camera.
Yeah.
And I think...
Yeah, there was a place in Miami that I played, and I think it might be New York. Anyway, it was a club that you weren't allowed your phones. And the vibe, to be fair, the vibe was different to like any other show that I played. Everyone was so like involved, and like the response from the music was just, yeah, it was different.
I suppose everyone's a lot more in tuned with the DJ as well.
Yeah, it's a lot more responsive. Like the way that I like to play is like feeding off the energy of the crowd as well, and like I like to try and interact, whether it's like eye contact or I don't know, just like, you know, I don't want it to feel like they're watching me. I want it to feel like we're just partying together and I'm picking the music. But yeah, you definitely get more of a sense of I don't know what the right word is, but yeah, like you said, they're more sort of in tune. Yeah.
What I think is weird, well, it's not weird, it's just kind of annoying that because of phones and so many people taking photos, videos, that a lot of events can't actually happen. Like, do you remember Manumission in Ibiza?
I know of it.
Very well known. Some of the stuff that went down there we will never know about because, again, there was no phones and everything. But it was like the go-to place for celebrities or anyone in that caliber that just wanted to have a good time and not worry about it. And a party like that just couldn't happen today, but they were some of the best parties ever.
Yeah, it's true. You can't, I guess if you're like a big time celeb, you can't maybe, I don't know, if you drink too much and pass out, there's going to be pictures of it everywhere. And yeah, things like that.
Nothing's private now.
Yeah, it's true.
Right, so Ryan, I've got just one more question for you, and it's kind of a big one. And that is, what would your dream party look like? If you could run your own event anywhere in the world with whoever performing, with whatever production, what would it look like?
Dream party, I'd say it would be in Ibiza. So it would start as a daytime thing, but a little bit later so that I don't go to bed halfway through. So like starts at like 3-4. Who's playing this? So yeah, a bunch of like George Qualley, Fatboy Slim would be there, Basement Jaxx, Armor Van Helden, all the people that I just sort of grew up really inspired by.
Very bass heavy then.
Yeah. Maybe a little Purple Disco Machine set as well, Through the Sunset.
Bit contrast, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it would start kind of early. You get the sunset, and then it'd be like turn into more of a bit wild. And somehow I don't know what the venue would be to have the sunset and then go into like the dark underground basement vibes. I don't know what venue that would be possible in, but yeah, just essentially
probably Pikes.
Yeah, true that actually. Yeah, Pikes would be a good one. It's a good shout. Amazing. Yeah, be at Pikes, all my mates there.
That sounds like a party.
Just good vibes, yeah. Maybe some sort of fancy dress.
Yeah, I think it always makes it better with a bit of fancy dress. I've got a coloured unitard which has to come out on many occasions just because it's so amazing.
I love that.
You'll be seeing me at Brighton Pride wearing that thing. Don't worry about it.
You should have wore it today.
Get me more warning. I didn't know that was your kind of. Listen, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on the show today and just giving us a bit of a insight into your life. And
that's all, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. You've got lots of stuff coming up, which I'm very excited to hear about, especially on your new label. Very exciting stuff. And we'll be checking up with you in the next couple
of months. Yeah.
Try and get you back in and just have more of a chat about this because it's been great.
100%. I'll keep you updated with all the music and stuff as well.
Amazing. Cheers, buddy. Thanks.
Nice one. Cheers, mate. Catch you in a bit.